the title will always change, especially in international circumstances because of translations, and so.
Molti film spesso, soprattutto quando si tratta di produzioni internazionali, a causa della potenziale poi traduzione nelle varie lingue, viene cambiato fino all'ultimo. Infatti per alcuni film che ho fatto, insomma, il titolo definitivo è stato dato solo alla fine. Io spero che comunque la cosa importante sia proprio il film in se stesso e non tanto il titolo.
Yeah, smitten is in parola molto americano. Smitten is, being in love. I don't know too much about the film. I mean, I start in a week, and I've read the script. I don't know how much it's changed. It's a very cute story. I think for most Americans tend to romanticize Italy in a very specific way, much like the way Italians romanticize going to America and going to New York City or Los Angeles or what have you. So for me, it's very fun to be able to shoot a film in Italy. I mean, that's a dream. Everybody has the dream to be able to travel to beautiful places for work. So the fact that I get to do that is really, really exciting. It's meant to sort of highlight a lot of beautiful Italian landscape, as most American films do. I think a good Under the Tuscan Sun, which is, that's like candy for Americans. We love seeing that. We love seeing the country. Much Italians do as well, I suppose, but more for Americans, because seeing the food and the people and it's the stuff of fantasy for a lot of Americans and people not from Italy. So I think, there's an element to that in this film that we're doing, where it's a very fantastical, cute depiction of very, very rural Italy.
Allora, quello che posso dirvi e che mi piace molto di questo film è che dà molto materiale per l'immaginazione degli americani, che tendono ad avere un'idea romantica dell'Italia e che in questo modo viene anche un po' confermata.
Hi Darren, nice to meet you.
What's up?
Congratulations for your performance in Glee. I want to ask you, in Glee you have worked in tributes to pop stars like Madonna, Lady Gaga, Britney Spears and many others. Which is your favorite tribute, and did you learn something on the set with this great pop star?
Well, I didn't have the privilege of getting to meet a lot of these people. We did so many artists that it makes you go cross-eyed thinking about how many there were. I've mentioned the Beatles several times today. Any living, breathing person, alive, knows and loves the Beatles. I mean, that's just sort of a fact at this point. But we did a Beatles tribute album where I got to do a sort of Paul McCartney haircut, and I got to play his Hofner bass. Not his actual bass, but if you're a musician or if you're a fan of instruments, that's a very iconic, is the viola Hofner bass, a left-handed one as well. I got to play one of those, and that was fun, just pretending to be Paul McCartney. That's something I've been doing my whole life in my room by myself, so getting to do that on camera was kind of fun. But just, it's being able to embody these things that most of us do in our cars or in our rooms alone, but you don't have the hair and the makeup and all the props to make it actually a legitimate thing. It's just, like I said, it's a fantasy, and it's just a fun pretend thing. So getting to actually do them in real life was crazy. So the Beatles thing for me, because we did Hard Day's Night in black and white, the whole thing, and I grew up loving that movie and loving Beatles films, so that to me was a really special experience.
Allora, è difficile dire conoscitore, e se non vorrei che mi chiedeste mai di cantare qualcosa, se non potrei spararmi, perché no. Assolutamente non arrivo ad una conoscenza così profonda. Quello l'ho detto perché sì, li conosco, li ho sentiti, ma non ne ho una vera e propria conoscenza.
Your question, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Yes.
Okay, I want to know, have you ever thought about that partnership with any Italian musicians?
Well, first of all, I think my Italian would have to be a lot better. So, I mean, I don't know. You never know. I mean, I've certainly gotten to work with a lot of people in my very, very short time working in the entertainment industry, people that I never thought I would work with, that I would have never put on a list that, one day I hope to work with this person, but because I did get to, it's great. Who knows? You never know. I'm spending a lot of time in Italy lately, so maybe, maybe that's the next step, but I have no idea. maybe.
Per
Second
prima
question,
cosa
if I
mi
can-
piacerebbe che...
Ok, prego.
Per i colleghi. Per prima cosa mi piacerebbe che il mio italiano migliorasse per cominciare. Poi non si può mai dire, in realtà già mi è capitato di lavorare con persone con le quali non avrei mai pensato di riuscire a lavorare, non ho mai fatto una lista dei nomi con i quali mi piacerebbe collaborare, proprio perché appunto è bello poi sorprendersi del fatto di riuscire a fare determinate cose, quindi non si sa mai, non escludo niente, mi piacerebbe.
Ok, ragazzi siamo quasi alla fine, quindi facciamo presto.
Buongiorno, ciao Darren.
Buongiorno.
Volevo chiederti, ho l'impressione che tu abbia un approccio molto teatrale al lavoro, cioè ti piace passare da un ruolo all'altro. Invece interpretare Darren, che comunque è un ruolo che ti ha dato anche questa enorme popolarità e un peso anche di simbolo in più sul ruolo per quello che rappresenta. Scusami, interpretare Blaine. Ti pesa in qualche modo rappresentare tutto quello che è legato a Glee? Qualche volta? Cioè ne senti un po', e senti un po' la paura di non riuscire a staccartene nell'immagine del pubblico?
Sei già staccato, ragazzi.
I still want to. Yes, please. Always transit when in doubt. I think I
So she
understand.
says, I'm under the impression of you being very theatrical in your approach with your roles, in the sense that you try to become your role in every experience you have, whether on stage, whether filming, etc. But since you had this experience with interpreting Blaine, which is such a huge character, gave you such fame, are you maybe afraid that in a certain way you could be stuck to that and
Yeah, you know, that is an interesting. It's a. Oh, we good? We good? We good? We good? Okay.
Scusa, c'è lui.
It's a very interesting question because a lot of TV actors, you know, get that question when you play a role for a long period of time. If you're going to be stuck in that position, I don't feel like I have. I mean, first of all, it's not. I mean, it kind of is, but I will say it's really not up to me as it is up to other people. Them giving me the opportunity to be other people, and then secondly, the pubblico, the gente deciding that I can, that we can accept this person as somebody else. So it's kind of a two-way thing. I mean, I'm very specific about finding roles. So at the time, when Blaine came around, that was, which can arguably said, at least in a worldwide level, was like my biggest break. I would be a fool not to admit that. But when I got that role, my friends were like, "Oh wow, how cool! You're doing something different. This is so weirdly different." Because before, this is kind of more what I look like. Long hair. I played the friend, the surfer dude type. I certainly wasn't the preppy lead guy that Blaine is. It was not. So it's funny. People tend to remember the last thing you did, whether it's an article you've written or the last color you painted your house. That's what people know you from, the last thing. So so the trick is just to keep doing more things. If I'm associated with Blaine my whole life, then hey, cool. That's lucky me. Most people would kill to get that opportunity in their lifetime. So I can't say that might not happen. But I would seek to, for me, the name of the game is versatility and variety in everything that I do. If people ask me if I'm a musician, I say no, I'm an actor. If people ask me if I'm an actor, I say no, I'm a musician. I just like trying to shake it up as much as possible. So it doesn't scare me, no. It would scare me if I knew that was the only thing I could do. But I know that I'm much more than that. And maybe I'm delusional. Maybe that is the only thing I can do. But I have yet to find that out. So until that day, I don't think I'll be too scared. But there is that fear sometimes, We'll see. Blaine has only been gone for like a year, so we'll see. Ask me in 5 years. We'll see how we do. Yeah.
E allora, questa è una domanda alla quale
loyal and so on, because the younger audience would like to know this.
What kind of friend am I? Well, it depends who the friend is. But you said secret keeper. I think that's actually kind of a nice thing. I often find myself in between a lot of different people, especially in relationships. In college, I remember I was, my best friend would come to me in the middle of the night and tell me all these things about his girlfriend, and then his girlfriend would come to me and tell me all these things about him. And so I couldn't tell either party. I was the only person that understood the problem, but I was not in a position where I could break my trust between two people. But I guess, yeah, people tell me things, whether I want to hear it or not. I don't give advice a lot, but I'm a listener. I take in a lot of stuff. Again, for better or for worse. Maybe sometimes I take in stuff that I probably shouldn't take in. But no, I absorb a lot of things. I'm an absorber, which is why I love my job, is because it requires pulling from a lot of experiences in life and sort of painting this. It's kind of a mosaic of different pieces you've collected throughout your life, and so I'm a collector of information. So, which is to say, I could totally blackmail all my friends if I wanted to.
Allora,